Here with UWL head football coach Mike Schmidt as we preview tomorrow's season opener, home opener with Dickinson State University. We're going to have a kickoff at 1 o'clock at Roger Herring Stadium at Veterans Memorial Field Sports Complex. Tailgating starts at 10 a.m. Ticket window will open at 11 o'clock, and the gates will open at 11:30. Coach, let's first of all, playing at home. First chance to be here in front of your fans. Let's just talk about that for a second.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting to finally be back. It's actually our first time in the state of Wisconsin. We were in Iowa for our opener at Luther, and then at Illinois Wesleyan last weekend. And so it's kind of cool because last year we actually didn't leave the state of Wisconsin to play anything. So it's nice to be back, but it's always great for a home opener. The student section is always going to be a huge one for this game, and we're excited about the students coming out, and then finally getting to introduce this new team, and it's completely a new team from the last couple of years, to our home fans and to our community. And I think we've made such a good point of trying to be a part of this community and part of this area, and now it's just fun to get to do what we do. We get to see everybody and what they do in schools, and obviously in the communities around here, we get to see what they do on a daily basis. Now they get to see what we really get to do well on Saturday afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Before we talk about Dickinson, let's go back to last week. Illinois Wesleyan, big win down there. The Titans were at that time ranked 21st in the country, 34-31 victory. Just talk about that. You had that lead at halftime. They kind of made their run, which you probably expected them to make a run.
For sure.
You got that last second field goal, of course, last play of the game. But just talk about that Wesleyan game last Saturday.
It comes down to a last play of the game, and we kick a field goal with a freshman holder and a freshman kicker, and it's really cool how some of that stuff comes full circle. We've been talking about Ryan Byrne and Evan Lewandowski as two of our top recruits, and then in their second game they get to make an impact like that. But yeah, we got off, and Illinois Wesleyan grabbed the early lead in the early momentum of the game, and then we were able to sway that. Certainly a fake punt changed a huge direction of that game and allowed us to build a big lead, a 14-point lead at half. And yeah, we knew they were going to make their run. That's a really good team that we beat. So those of you that didn't watch the game last week, Illinois Wesleyan is fantastic. They have a ton of talent. I wish we could only make it a one-year deal. Now I don't know that I want to play them again because that's a fantastic team, a great program, really incredibly well coached. And so they make that run, and we kept talking through the whole time. It takes one stop and one drive. That's all we knew we needed, and we did. And so we got the stop defensively that we needed. We got the drive that we needed offensively, set up by a big play, obviously, to start it again to Cole Speaker. And then obviously Ryan Byrne kicks it through at the end, and it just all the stuff that this young team got to go through and experience from the momentum shift and pouring it on in the first half to here they come and being able to weather that and come away with a win. I would have been satisfied even losing that game for what we learned going through it, and now we've already been through that, and we know we're going to get that throughout the WIC season, and again this week against a really good Dickinson State team.
You opened the season with a win at Luther, and you talked about basically a new team. What have you learned about this team through the first, even fall camp, practicing, starting, your exhibition, your scrimmages that you've had? Now you've had 2 games. What have you learned about your team?
I don't know that they know everything that they're learning right now, about what they're made of. And I keep trying to point those things out to them is the resilience that they have and really just the intangible things that it took to win that game last week, and the intangible things that it took to get through the Luther game and come out on top of that thing. So, I think we're learning about this team that in a lot of ways they're too young to even know what's going on in a lot of things, and that I thought was good last week against Illinois Wesleyan. We didn't make a very big deal out of the game. In our coaching circle, we knew it was a huge game for our program. We knew it was a huge game on the landscape of Division III playoffs potentially. But for us and for the players, it was like, hey, no big deal for you guys. They're just a bunch of young, dumb kids that don't know what's going on in terms of those things. And I think we really want to keep making it so that they just focus on the next play, the next thing. And I think you saw that in the second half. They stopped focusing on the next play and the next drive and started looking around and it's like the guy on the high wire, right? When you're looking at the high wire and you're doing it, you're okay. All of a sudden you start looking around, and that's when you're going to fall off. And I think that's exactly what happened. But luckily for our team and for that win, we were able to regain really our identity and come out with a win. So I think that's probably the most important thing that we've talked about this week with our guys, and the most important lesson from last week.
Let's talk about Dickinson State. Of course, from North Dakota, they're 1-1 in the season. They're ranked number 20. They're an NAIA program coming off a loss last week to a ranked team themselves.
Really good Rocky Mountain College team. A really good team.
Dickinson's made the playoffs the last 3 years, the NAIA playoffs. Just talk about what you know about Dickinson State coming in tomorrow.
It's funny because, not a lot of people in our area or a lot of our fans that even know about Dickinson State, that they've been so good. This is a really good team that's coming in. A lot of talent. They have a ton of kids. Most of their roster is going to be North Dakota, Wyoming, Montana. They're only about 30 or 40 minutes from the Montana border. They're in Mountain Time Zone out there, but they've got a lot of kids from that area, and then they have a lot of transfers from California Junior College and things like that. But they are loaded with talent. They played a tight game, a 21-10 loss last week at Rocky Mountain College, who was fantastic. I think Rocky Mountain College, jumped into the top 10 after that win. And they are a really good football team. And Dickinson State played them toe-to-toe. We have a big challenge. This is going to be one of the most physical games we'll play this year. They have a ton of size, a lot of speed, and they are going to smack you. So if you're looking for a good physical football game, this is going to be it for sure. And our players, we've been getting them ready. Joel Lutke, he's the best in the business. He's got our guys ready on the athletic training side of things. Glenn Wright, he's the best in the business. John Shimmons, his partner in crime in the weight room. Those guys have our guys ready to go physically because we're going to need it. And obviously we're going to talk about it, the hot day and getting ready to go physically and in a really physical football game.
Keys to winning for you, what you need to do.
Yeah, we have to keep the football in front of us on the defensive side. They have a ton of big playability. In their first game against Jamestown, I think they had 2 touchdowns that were over 60-some yards. One was a 76-yard one. They had another 70-some yard touchdown last week, throwing the ball against Rocky Mountain. If we can keep them in front of us, we got a shot, make them drive the football and things like that. But we fully anticipate they're going to come out and throw the ball 40 to 50 times on Saturday. So our secondary really in the pass rush that's tiring and wearing on guys. You got to bench press 300 pounds off you because they're big and physical up front. That's going to be a huge challenge for our defense. And then I think offensively, can we run the football? That's going to be a big part. They have a couple tremendous linebackers, a tremendous nose tackle, and if we can move the football, we'll feel pretty good on what that's going to open up for us. But they got a lot of speed in the secondary, so we got to have some success running the football. So if we can grind it out a little bit on offense and make them grind it out a little bit on defense, I think we'll have some success and at least a chance to win this game because it's a tough game.
You talked about the heat. We do have a high 80s tomorrow, humidity. Just your plan of how you'll prep for that weather tomorrow.
Yeah, it's too late, really. That prep had to have been done on Monday. We kind of saw this coming, and we've been working with our guys all week on it to try to avoid the cramping and things that are going to come with this. But, yeah, we're looking high 80s and heat indexes and the heat indices, I think is how I should say that. I am a UWL alum. I should know these things, Dave. We're going to have a heat index in the 90s somewhere. So it's going to be hot. But, that preparation happens long before. And we've been on our guys. We've had a little bit of percentage drop in our weight. So we were really on them about eating and sleeping and hydrating throughout this week. So, how do I know that they did that? I don't know that. But we'll find out. But that prep started on Monday for this stuff. But I think the key for us always is keeping our guys calm. The more juiced up and tight and tense that you stay on the sideline pregame, the more likelihood you're going to have for cramps. So the more we can kind of, what we do, the first thing we do when we get on the sideline is we tell them, I constantly tell them, I say, 10 huge breaths, hold it in, and that's what we do on defense to get them to kind of drop that thing back down so that we avoid the cramping.
Again, UWL will host Dickinson State University on Saturday afternoon, 1 o'clock kickoff. Again, tailgating lot opens at 3 hours before. Ticket window at 2 hours before the game, and then the gates will open at 11:30 tomorrow, 90 minutes before the game. Good luck tomorrow, Coach.
Go Eagles.